I am so ridiculously excited to talk to you about Ohmicide, which is the Eurorack module you see before you. Ohmforce reached out a few months ago about sending one over, and it wasn't a product that was on my radar, but now that I've spent some time with it, it is one that I will never live without. This is a Eurorack port of a very well-regarded plugin, and it brings an almost dizzying number of distortion algorithms into your rack. Today we're going to spend some time first diving into how it works, what each knob and switch does, and of course we're also going to spend a fair amount of time listening to how it sounds. For our material, we will be dumpster diving through my Morphogenes SD card. I have no idea what's on there, about a year's worth of stuff. I didn't load anything specifically on there for this demo, so that'll be kind of fun. We've started out with a sample. I think this is from Slade and Ash's Landforms plugin. It's a really pretty sound. Let's mess it up. So, let's start with the top left. The gain knob here does exactly what you would expect. On a module that's all about distortion. Let's leave that at about 2 o'clock. This is a stereo module, and one of the most fun things about it is there's a crossover built in. So, as audio goes in, we can remove some of the bass content. So we turn this clockwise, and eventually nothing is being distorted. Everything below the cutoff is not passed into the distortion circuit. Everything above it is. Now, let me load some drums, because this is actually like a really good real-world use case for me. Yeah. So I'm a big fan of saturating drums, but I often am not a huge fan of saturating the kick drum. And pulling that out is really easy with the Ohmicide. Just rotate the crossover until the kick is clean and everything else is saturated. Easy peasy. Very cool. Now let's stay on this drum sample. Now, the mod knob changes its function for every algorithm. Right now we're on the soft clip algorithm, so this actually just changes the slope of the wave shaper, the amount of wave shaping. So the more gain we give it, the more noticeable that becomes. Every algorithm has a mod function, and those are outlined really clearly in the extremely helpful interactive manual. But okay, as audio leaves the crossover, it goes into this low-pass filter. This is pre-distortion, so we're, again, deciding what gets distorted. Here we can pull low end out with the crossover, and with the low-pass filter here, we can pull some of the high end out before it gets distorted. And then we've got another low-pass filter on the other side of the distortion algorithms. If you want to filter out any upper harmonic content, you can very easily do that. The bias knob does a few things. It introduces a DC offset that's removed later, and it also adjusts the span between harmonics. You can spread them out, clockwise rotation of the knob. You can shrink them together with a counterclockwise rotation of the knob. But what you'll find in a lot of these algorithms is to just simplify all of that. The bias knob kind of causes the circuit to begin to misbehave. And it's really fun. Not super duper apparent in this algorithm, but we will show it in action here in a bit. The family switch here has 3 modes. S is kind of normal. X causes the algorithm to behave like a tube amp. And O introduces odd harmonics. And then our big type encoder here is how we switch algorithms. So let's just kind of go for a walk. We'll land. We landed back on soft clipping. How about lo-fi? Let's land on lo-fi. Okay? Great. We'll land on vinyl. And you can kind of hear the bias knob working there. And let's listen to the odd harmonics version of this algorithm. Here the bias knob is doing a lot of work. So let me go back to dry. You can just kind of hear. It's pretty awesome, pretty intense. We'll just spend some time here jumping around between algorithms and settings. This one's called Zippy. Now is perhaps a good time to mention that, as you may have noticed, everything is controllable with CV. So let's patch up some Wogglebug and math outputs and see what it's like to kind of modulate some of these knobs and maybe also even change modes with control voltage. Bias circuit here with maths. And then with a really slow maths envelope that we will attenuate. I'm going to patch this into type. cause us to start scrolling through the different settings, different algorithms. All right, here's some nice plucky material. We'll pull our modulation out for now. This sounds nice on the tube setting. Okay, so there are a few different interesting modes here for operating Ohmicide. We've been using producer mode, in which the module switches settings as soon as the knob is turned. But we've also got performance mode, and there are a few different flavors of this, but the one that I find most useful is this switch mode, in which a new algorithm will be highlighted as we scroll, but we're not actually changing settings until I click down. Now we've changed algorithms. Now we've changed. Now we've changed. This is really, really awesome for performance settings where you want to queue up some new algorithm and change settings, but you don't want to execute that change until, boom, the downbeat, whatever. Very, very cool. And another really fun addition here is that there is a built-in sequencer in which we can save like little presets as steps in a sequence, and then either step through them with control voltage or with trigs. So let's check that out. We actually need to start in producer mode. There we go. And if we find settings we like, we can double click here and say save step. This will be step 1. And let's change to another algorithm completely. Change our crossover, change the gain. Double click this and say this is step 2. Do it again. Step 3. Step 4. And step 5. And we've got options on how to step through these, but if we go back to performance mode and choose trig, now we've got this end of rise gate set up, and every time we receive a trig in the type jack, it'll step through these steps. And that is pretty slick. What if we use the end of splice gate on Morphogene to step through the same rhythm as our Morphogene splices? That's pretty cool. That's fun. And then, of course, modulating the family switch. It's also tons of fun. Actually, let's use the envelope follower output. So as you can hear, Ohmicide is an incredibly versatile distortion module. That really comes alive with control voltage. And can take material that's boring or already kind of fun, and really spice it up. Destroy it. I'm just going to keep patching here. There we go. So yeah, Ohmicide, it'll wreck stuff in very beautiful ways. There's some other fun stuff here in performance mode and some config stuff that I'm not going to cover in this video, but hopefully this gives you a good idea of what Ohmicide can do, how it works, and what it sounds like. Whether or not it's right for you, hey, that's your call. But thanks for swinging by. If you like this video and want to see more, subscribe, sign up for notifications, do all that stuff. I'm going to finish the tea and keep working on this patch. See you next time. Let's take this into Mimeophone and end the patch with some delay.